scanning. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Worthy tribute. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to DPL-CDA. Apologies that we did not get you the 1v1. There were some technical issues that prevented me from going live. So for those of you wondering, the outcome of that SF 1v1 was DD over on the side of Sparking Arrow Gaming, who won it up against James in pretty convincing fashion, and after that they opted for first pick in this draft. CDEC choosing Radiant. So we've got two best of threes coming your way tonight. CDEC versus Sparking Arrow Gaming will be first best of three, of course. That is going to be followed by RNG versus Aster. We do have a few days in the coming week that are only going to be a single best of three, of course, with all of the unpleasantness with these accusations against Newbie, or the ban that's being brought against them by a couple of organizers in China. That does mean we're going to have a couple of days where there's just one best of three, but worry not, plenty of Dota tonight for you guys. As far as this particular matchup goes, it should be kind of a cool one. These two teams did play against each other about 3 days ago in the CPL, and I believe it was CDEC taking a 2-0 in that particular situation. I do have those drafts in front of me right now, but you would be interested to know that the drafts here are very different so far to the drafts in that series. Sparking Arrow, in both of the games that they played in that series against CDEC, they banned Grimstroke, Void Spirit, Roll, and in one game they banned Train, in the other game they banned Ember Spirit. And for CDEC, they were consistently banning the DL and the Centaur versus Sparking Arrow, and they also banned the Chen one. So the Chen's still here, the Treant's getting banned, but other than that, a very different look between these two teams. And that series that they played against SAG in the CPL was actually an extremely convincing win in both games for CDEC. I believe they won. Yeah, they won the first game in 20 minutes, 22-6, and they won the second game in 23 minutes, and that was 21-8. So we'll see if things are looking any different this time around for Sparking Arrow. They did have the opportunity to grab the Ember Coddle if they wanted it, but instead I'm just going to go for an Ember Lich, and CDEC starting up with the very potent Oracle plus Death Prophet combination. So nothing too shocking there. The Oracle hasn't been seeing a ton of play necessarily. I have been seeing it getting banned quite a bit. And Death Prophet just seems popular and quite strong, kind of the Dota world over right now. We do have a little bit of a trend in the Australian scene currently developing in our the one Australian league that we have going on, is that sort of position 3, position 4 Death Prophet has started to become a little bit more of a thing, taking it early on in the draft and then kind of flexing it. But I think in this particular situation, especially with the Oracle, you're more than likely just going to be playing it as that core. Though maybe the matchup is enough against Ember to go chasing it into one of the side lanes, but I'm not certain. And this Ember pick is already looking a little bit vulnerable. He's already looking like he can't really go mid. It's annoying to play against the Oracle in general, just being able to dispel off your Flame Guard. But as much as I think these heroes are decent answers to the Ember, I think we're still going to have a pretty good game. That's just kind of the nature of this hero. His power level is still such that even in a garbage lane, he's still going to farm quite well through the mid game just by virtue of his skills, and he's always going to have an impact in team fights just with having all this low cooldown spam and providing catch to line up. But it's so nice having Ember at the beginning of your draft, because you can just be like, all right, we probably have enough catch at this point. Like, we don't need to worry about, oh, do we really need to pick like a position 4 Clockwork, or do we really need an off lane with Initiating Stun? Because there are these weirder off laners in the meta at the moment. You know, we do have people kind of running the Nature's Prophet in the offlane, and that's not completely out of the ordinary, but it doesn't have a ton of catch. And we've also got people in pubs, at least even a little bit in the pro scene, that are running like the position 4 Pugna, and the position 4 Pugna is great. I've got nothing against it, but it's not bringing a lot of solid lockdown and a lot of catch for you. Not even so much lockdown, because of course Ember doesn't have hard disables, but catch is really a lot of what he brings to the table for you. So, you know, CDC don't have a ton of lockdown coming in from their Oracle necessarily, so they are going to go for the Earthshaker here. Sparking Arrow, very much a lane focus, it looks like to me, here in this draft, as they just go for the Lina now. So they've got two very potent laning supports, you know, range, decent nukes, should be able to bully and harass and trade pretty effectively. Always could be good. So, especially if they got run over in their last series against CDEC, I definitely think you like this game or this series with the mentality of, all right, let's just try and focus on winning our lanes a little bit more and not getting bowled over. In terms of results for these two teams, they're both kind of outside of the money currently. So a reminder of the format of this event for anyone who needs a reminder. It is just a league. Every team's going to play against every other team in a best of 3, and that's it. The result of those best of 3s determine everything. There is money on the line for every single game, not even every single series. So there is 4.5 thousand Chinese yuan for every game, and you even get 500 for a loss. So there is, you know, technically some incentive for teams to, if you know that you're the better team, sure, maybe you could say there's some weird incentive to drag it out to 3 games. But I really don't think we've been seeing a whole lot of that, especially because winning your series is important. There's not only money available for every single game, but there is also prize money available for the top 6. So it's 26k for first, and then all the way down to 1.7k for 6th, and that kind of it roughly doubles all the way up to second. Second to first is not quite double, and I guess actually what, third to, okay, so yeah, it doubles all the way up to third, sorry, and it's a smaller increases third, second, first, but still pretty significant. Second is 17.5 k USD, and first is 26.4 roughly. So anyway, enough of that. We've got Centaur picked up for CDC, so just kind of a dual stun off lane, but I think the mentality with this Centaur as well, is one of the nicest things about Centaur and off laners, that you can just kind of leave him there. And even if he's got kind of counter matchups and things like that, he's still going to do okay. And even if he's not, he can always just kind of go and back lane a little bit. He can catch up pretty well in the jungle once you sort of get to the mid game if there is a little bit more space to work with. And I think it's nice having an off laner that you can leave by himself when you've got this Earthshaker, because especially if you're talking about like Death Prophet mid and you've got the Shaker with the potential connection, you know, rotating in from the side lanes. If you don't have the right hero mid for Sparking Arrow, if they don't have you know, something with an escape, even the Ember before level 6, if he happens to go mid, could be vulnerable to that kind of a rotation. So Sparking Arrow just gonna go for Lycan here. I don't think it really looks like a free Lycan game necessarily. Like, it's okay for getting into the back lines and finding your Oracle and stuff like that, but there is some decent AoE stuns on the side of CDC, and they're not terrible at clearing up all of the summons and stuff either. It's always kind of important to look at your AoE as well, in terms of how you're going to deal with the Lycan. And with that Arrow, I don't know what they're doing laning wise. I guess maybe they are just going to send the Ember to mid lane. Right now it doesn't seem like they have any particularly good matchup against the Death Prophet. The Rubik is getting banned out. So what else could they do here? They could make the Ember a support, but one of Ember, Lich, Lina has to be a core, pretty much no matter what. So if they wanted to, it could just be Lina mid versus the Death Prophet. That is a pretty good matchup for the Lina, but that is again where I would be worried about these Shaker rotations kind of coming in. But that might be the angle that CDC are looking at here. They're like, all right, it's Lina mid, 4 or 3 Ember or something, and Sparking Arrow just gonna go for the Nature's Prophet with the last grab. So we're really trying to shift gears into a lot of push, but they are other than Lycan, very squishy this game. They do have good bursts, but they're also playing against the Oracle with the Death Prophets. The burst against the DP shouldn't be too concerning so long as the positioning is right from Oracle. And CD's just gonna go for a Sven to round. Sven has not been very popular as of late. I think the hero is in not the best place, but this is actually looking like a fairly decent Sven game. Gives them another stun against the Lycan. Sven doesn't even really need to be the primary damage source in these fights. And yeah, they've just grabbed triple stuns to round up the draft. The Sven's always going to be able to clean up the trance and clean up all the Lycan shenanigans. But what do we have in terms of roles for Barking Arrow? So it is going to be their position 3 Nature's Prophet. And then what? We've got a position 4 Ember being played by Felix. I can't say that personally I'm a big fan of the position 4 Ember, though. I think the motivation in this game is primarily like, oh, you know, Ember's looking like he's going to have a pretty tough game. Matchup wise, we don't have a great place to really put him in the lane somewhere, so maybe just moving him over to the position 4 is going to help out a little bit. But you know, I do even worry about top lane a little bit. I think this Centaur is going to be just fine. Bottom by himself, so I think this Earthshaker can a ton of work done. Yeah. Alright. So in here, I need to use this. I gotta use smaller menu.
Prepare for battle.
We got player names. Nice. We're all set. But yeah, so it's position 4 Ember, just kind of going boots first. I have seen it. I do think it can work under the right circumstances. Just feel like it's such a gamble, and like not really that good of a laning hero either. So I've also just seen a situation where you start losing your lanes even a little bit, and the Ember is like, what do I do? I can't make any plays. He just kind of ends up walking around the map doing whatever. Who do you see coming up here? Felix charging at them currently. I mean, is he going to skill up change? He does. They're going to go for the Shaker. James with a 3-man stun. Be missing on his stun. And so that's actually coming back around, looking for the stun onto the Lycan. Just putting some harassment onto him. A little bit surprised that they're not going for somebody like Lena. And now Felix, even with his boots, does get off another chains. Stormhammer still on cooldown for 6 seconds, but you see with everybody up here just looking to brawl, and it does seem like they should be able to get this kill off the Felix. James has Fisher. Here comes the nuke from XM, and now it's going to be first blood for CDEC, getting off on the right foot here. OP God is going to be able to grab himself 2 bounties down on the bottom side of the map. He's still just constantly fighting over here. And what is Victoria gonna get up to? Is he gonna try and snipe a curve? Something like that. Set up, I think we're good. Are we live? Yeah, we're live. Alright, this is perfect. Okay. Good stuff. It does seem like you might be looking for a little bit of a courier snipe. Sven just walking down into the lane at bottom. Not gonna eat or anything like that. Yeah, can he get the snipe? It does seem. So Lycan is just waiting to see where the lanes settle, and he, I guess, does not want to play against the Sven. Maybe he was a little bit worried about some kind of aggro tri-lane after CDEC showed up so aggressively with 5 heroes for the bounties. But all right, just have to slowly walk his way up. It could still just be a tri-lane anyway. This Oracle not feeling like he needs to be bottom just yet. And Red Panda just needs to be somewhat careful. If he gets caught out by a Fortune 10, I think he might end up dying. They are instead going on to the Lycan, just looking to put some damage down. Here comes the Fisher. They're stacking their stuns a bit, but they're also blocking him pretty effectively. Red Panda getting turned around on. I don't think you can fight up against 2, my friend. And it's going to be a Fortune's in a second, so that Frost Shield not really going to be helping him out too much. James doesn't have the Fisher for a little bit, but it's just going to end up being a bunch of damage traded. So far as mid. DD doing very well for himself, has opted for the point in the Fiery Soul. Seems to be just getting those stacks up and really laying the auto attacks down onto the Death Prophet. This is kind of their counter pick matchup, so definitely have to try and make the most of it, even though I still think the Death Prophet is going to do just fine. And Sven at bottom, looking for a little bit of a turnaround here onto Felix as Victoria will pick that one up. No problem. So is this Ame, or do they have that's Ame? I recognize the profile. We've had this question before. Red Panda harassing SRF a little bit. We gotta be careful about giving him the stacks and all the rotation with the Fisher. They bring down DD. Apologies, I did not catch that kill. It didn't even look like the Fisher really helped out that much. He just kind of got caught out by some Spirit Siphons and run down. Alright, well that is certainly a really nice start for CDEC. I think we're starting to see a little bit how that previous series will. But the curious thing is that in the previous iteration of CDA League, not the DPL-CDA, just the CDA League, I believe that Sparking Arrow actually took out best of 3 CDEC, so they are certainly capable of it. You know, the CDEC team seems to be finding their strength a little bit. I think I was going to talk about standings in this league, but maybe didn't get around to it. So we do actually have, they're 3-3 currently. Sparking Arrow haven't played too many games. They're 1-3. And I believe that one win is the def win that they get against Newbie. So definitely looking for some wins. They were actually the overall winners of the first iteration of CDA League, and just haven't quite had that same form that they did in that one. So far at bottom, what is this position for Ember actually able to do? Has Felix gone and dragged creeps or anything? To me, that's the other weird thing, right? Is with the position through Nature's Prophet, this hero does a ton of damage. So all he needs is a center of desktop. All he needs is just a little off down from his position 4 to really threaten. Oh, and now Lena getting out again at mid. They just still have this Fisher. He's going to be able to pick up the Arcane Ring. James is looking to cut off the retreat. He's actually going to turn around on him here as X heads back to the lane. Doesn't want to miss too much experience. Yeah, what is this position for Ember going to do? Felix is thinking about making a rotation over to mid. The Fisher block does come in, but DD just going to have to head to the right. He does have 3 stacks of Fiery Soul currently. Can't get another stack up, so as soon as this fades, it might just get chased down. XM just needs the vision. Nice timing on the stick charges from DD. He's going to keep him alive, and, well, I mean, Felix rotates over, but all he does is throw out 1 slap chains, and that's it. You tell I'm a position 4 Ember hater. I am even a position 1 Ember doubter. For all of the nice things that I said about position 1 Ember just before, as mainly plays 5, and I have a safe lane Ember team, pub game, just like, what do I do? This hero is just gonna get bullied. We don't really have a ton of kill potential, I guess, depending on the build. So we'll just have to see what Felix can do here. So far, only level 2. SRF doing fine. Level 4 up here top did die, and as I said, an OP God actually brought down at bottom. 2 points in the stun from the Sven, and already the 2 points in the Purifying Flames for Victoria. Game's lagging, but the stream is still fine. Ooh, slideshow. Next slide, please. Okay. Seems like we're okay in the end. Mid lane with the intervention of the Earthshaker, pretty much even. We do have a TP top coming in from Felix, and they do see this Earthshaker the entire time. They have not caught a glimpse of the Ember just yet. That's sort of not going to be the easiest kill. Red Panda in a pretty impressive position, and James finds him out now. They do get the chains coming through. He's got the Fisher, and Victoria also keeping up here. Oh my god, even making the rotation. This is a 4-man gank from Sparking Arrow. Just going to be a 1-for-1 so far. SRF going to take a little bit more damage. And it does look like they're trying to make a play with the catapult to bring down this tower. Glyph is still available, and SRF just positioning himself to try and clear this one out. Even XM now making the rotation through. Felix has got the slide, but he's still going to get caught, and actually also slowing down OP God. Nice little sprout. It's out of harm's way, but That is a pretty costly rotation, I think, for Sparking Arrow. And I'm still just kind of running at them. Exorcism getting popped. He's got a lot of move speed chasing after the Lycan. He's got one Spirit Siphon remaining. The dive continues. Here goes the Fortune's End channel. Lich does come in looking for a little bit of a turnaround. Nice slight change. XM maybe in a bit too deep here as he also gets dragged in by the Sister Gaze. Right on top of him, he's still out of stick charges. They need a couple more auto attacks to finish him off. He's siphoning off anything that he can find. And Felix, oh, now they got the Stampede. They want this. Sam needs to be careful, just runs into Red Panda and nukes him down. So Felix can be pretty happy with that, just finding the 1-for-1. Now Lycan with the ulti pops, but Shaker does close the gate on him. Ooh, DQ with an invis. Be able to find game so long as he lands the stun. Okay, might not even need to land the stun. No, I guess he did need to. They're still hell-bent on getting this tier 1 tower up here. Won't be able to get the deny. SRF stuns up the big clump of creeps and walk back. Does already have a full Vanguard to his game. So, going to be pretty difficult to bring it down with all the summons. Sven Ahmed just has a straight-up AC queued currently. I mean, it's certainly a good item, but I was not expecting to see it already. The situation, maybe he's just trying to get a buck or something early on. But Mask of Madness thus far, very good CS, pretty good on the network. He's over on the Radiant side, so he's gonna have earlier access to these Ancients. Have already been stacked up once, but he's TPing mid, looking for a little bit of a fight. Sparking Arrow with the dive behind the tower. Felix getting kind of low. Can they keep him alive? That's got to be the question. Victoria is doing his best. And it's just going to be the Ember Spirit as the kill here. Sparking Arrow not getting anything, but really trying to get active super early on this Nature's Prophet. Try and claim a little bit of map control. And they do force some pretty hefty rotation. SRF is able to just keep on pushing up top. So long as he sees a bunch of heroes mid, he doesn't really have anything to worry about. But does certainly feel like Sparking Arrow on a little bit of a time in this game. If we get too late against the Sven Death Prophet, I do think they're going to get out-carried a little bit. It's not impossible for them to play late game. You know, Nature's Prophet can scale quite well. The Lina also pretty good, and Lycan, so long as he's able to keep up on network, should be okay. Felix, they've gone on here. Do they have a little bit more follow-up? If they do, XM comes through nuke, and they do also have an Exorcism event. But are they actually willing to trade? Looks like they might just be to bottom tower already being brought down by the Necrobook. The parking Sven at mid, just trying to hold on to this tier 1 tower a little bit longer. Definitely going to be important to maintain control over the Roshan pit if they can. Don't want to give that away too early though. Sparking Arrow do not have the best Aegis carriers in the world. Lycan only has multi, Lina's only got Lina is not really going to survive if you die in the middle of the enemy team with an Aegis, and kind of stinge the prayer for the Nature's Prophet. So we can be going on somewhat, and there is some decent damage here from the Lina. Wrath of Nature bouncing through. Centaur getting a little bit involved, and that is going to save the Sven for the time being. James also with the fish. He looks looking for a slight change, but he can't quite get the raid. Just has to settle for the Earthshaker instead. They've also lost Victoria on the other side of this fight, underneath the tier 1 tower. Sparking Arrow just surging in here with 5 heroes. Really looking to claim it. SRF is kind of walking over. I think he might be a little bit too late. XN in the neighborhood, he's kind of thinking about it, but it does seem like they're just gonna have to give this one away. And the Lycan draft still doing exactly what it wants to be doing so far this game. He's just gonna be going for Blade Mail as a little bit of a turn. On the one hand, I can understand the idea behind the Vanguard for the Centaur, but if things get too much more aggressive from Sparking Arrow, maybe SRF could find himself wishing that he'd gone for maybe the slightly faster Blink Dagger. Because he's still buying a lot of little items. Like, he's just put up a Windlaze for himself. Still got the stick coming out. Lycan, it's just going back to the Dominator at this point. Yeah. CDEC do have to walk up here at mid. Just pick out the tier 1 tower without too much contest. For Panda tries for the deny, but it's not going to happen.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Lycan actually finds this little ancient stack over here, so he's gonna be the one to clear that up. Sven's still just going straight for AC. That doesn't seem to be the plan for Ame. I guess if they get like AC plus Warcry plus Crimson, they're maybe go under the Lycan. He's got boots, but I don't think he's getting out of this one. XM a little off the mark with the nuke there. You know, maybe he was aiming for the creeps as well. But alright, Lycan gets brought down. Will Ame get punished at the same time? Felix jumping forward, changes on cooldown for 2 seconds time. Lina coming over, just chucks out the Laguna Blade. Sven's still pretty darn tanky though. They really need to find a catch, and he just whiffed the chains timing. Come on, Felix.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I think if he catches the chains, it should be a kill, right? Yeah, because then Lina stuns, and then maybe the Lit catches up, or something like that. Lycan again at bottom, trying to hold onto the tower. Exorcism's being popped, still about half duration. SRF, yeah, not even going to be going for the blink here. It's just going straight for the Crimson Guard. So really just trying to tank it as much as humanly possible. Lina, a little bit greedier on the build, has gone for some DTs, so he's still sort of thinking about that scaling potential. SRF could be the next target, but once again, the catch kind of a problem. I'm talking about the Emperor as this sort of fixes all your catch problems hero, but not so if you're whipping your combinations. And these two supports trying to make it go on to James. He's got the Echo Slam looking for the turn. Does he have that last little bit of damage that they need? XM rotating over, they get the silence that OP. Just gonna finish him off with the TP in.
Dire's top tower is under
And sucks to be James. SRF gonna hold this bottom tower, but down here by himself.
Dire's top
Doesn't really have a whole lot of
attack.
play around. They've even opted to actually, does this ward even block the can't? It might not block. That's kind of a cool ward. But just getting a tiny bit of vision still in their side of the map. They just take a regular creep. What's that about? Oh, stampede forward. They want this kill on the Lycan. Pretty tanky, does get the ultimate off. XM might be the one that gets turned around on here. OP just standing his ground with the blip. Nice 2-man slight chains in the background. OP still living. Stun comes through from this one touch to finish off that kill. Red Panda knows that he can't retreat back past the Fissure, so he just tries to do a little bit of damage before he gets down. XM does pick up a double kill there. And what he's got his heals completed now. Exorcism back off cooldown in 20 seconds. Network still ever slightly in favor of CDC. Experience actually moving in their direction a lot. They haven't been as grouped up as Sparking Arrow. And the win probably has actually been moving in CDEC's favor this entire time. Death Prophet being gone on, but the big question is, where's the Oracle? They do have the False Promise available. They're getting a little bit split along this high ground. Fissure helps to buy them a little bit more space. Sven just walks in there without care in the world as the Exorcism now gets popped. Needs to be careful with the Blade Mail, but that Yolt is going to buy in the time that he needs. And OP God should be brought down. He really just wanted to force the fight, but was not maybe anticipating that all 5 of CDC would be over here. So he gets brought down. He finds an opportunity to go grab 2 bounties for his team over on the top side of the map. So he's pretty happy with that.
Dire's bottom tower
But the metrics still very much favoring CDC. And the next round of outposts is going to be, especially at the 20-minute mark, going to be a pretty pivotal moment to spend. Kind of in no man's land here, and this time around they've got the lockdown, Lina landing the stun, and nowhere for Sven to go, and Victoria and SRF kind of coming over to see if they could help out in any way. But with the Sven dead, knowing that the Exorcism is also on cooldown, and people to make a go for the Roshan pick. Red Panda just wanted to do ward down for his team here. As Murph walked in, but he's taking big damage up these auto attacks from DD. They get the stampede in. James lands the Echo. They do get the follow-up stun onto the centaur, but he gets saved by the Promise Oracle, keeping him alive. And now trouble for the life because he comes into down into yet another stun from the Earthshaker and brought down in the end. Sparking Arrow, not the best Roshan decision making, not enough respect for CDC. Even without the big ultimates, they've still got plenty of damage. Great with the Stampede and the Echo Slam. SRF and James reminding SAG that they are still in this game. They're still here to play. And well, it may not even take getting to the 20-minute mark here. That is really CDEC starting to, you know, it's not the final nail in the coffin, but they've got the hammer out at the very least. It's starting to look a little bit tough for Sparking Arrow. What are the next item toppings? So Larkin still needs to finish off Neckerbuck. He started to just slowly but surely fall down the net worth chart. I think his net worth is really kind of getting propped up by the buildings that they managed to take in. He doesn't actually have that much farm, only 97 CS to his name. Meanwhile, you look over at the Sven, he's already got 207. You know, they are very different heroes, but Sven is starting to get pretty big. They do smoke right on top of an observer ward, so this should not really catch anybody out. Red Panda just booking it backwards. They do have the level 2 system ready to go and a ton of move speed on XM with the boots of travel, the Yules, and he's still carrying around the Faded Brooch currently. So unless they can find that chain stun on him, it's going to be very, very difficult to control and bring down this Death Prophet. They've got a ward down just outside of the range of the sentry, so a little bit of a false security for Sparking Arrows. Now the silence comes down to the Emperor. Fisher not going to provide the lock they're looking for. And Sven just going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter as his first major item. So we're going to see Superman Sven. And we don't have any silly combos with a Grimstroke or anything like that, but it's still going to be pretty cool. What's the best that they can do? Maybe they can channel a Fortune's End on him. He can go in and then they can get the follow-up that way. But with their AC and with their AC and their Crimson Guard, they're going to be crazy still.
Is under attack.
All right, and with that, they just walk top, take out the tier 2 for free. Smoke from Sparking Arrow is not going to get caught out. They're sending the Nature's Prophet top with his TP, so he can still teleport in. They've pretty much got all 5 heroes available. What do they see? They see a Centaur over here. They see Ekdom and James moving over past their ward currently. SRF breaks the smoke. He's not the easiest target to go on, but they do feel that his team is pretty far away. So they're just hard committing on this Centaur. SRF pops the Stampede. But it's going to be brought down by the auto attacks. I think he may have even captured the Blade Mill, reflecting the Stampede damage there. And now into the pit they go. So it's getting brought down pretty quickly. CDC do the confess. They're actually smoked up themselves, making their way over. They don't have the blink dagger, the shaker, and they don't have the Stampede to get him in for either. XM, 2-man silence. Fisher comes through, breaking up the farm a little bit. Sparking Arrow just committing to finish off the Roshan. XM wants to go. He's popped the Exorcism. They're just gonna look at the speed out on the light, and he does make it. Lich getting chopped in half. This friend on the other side. He buys himself a second, and Victoria decides, hey, you know what? I want that kill for myself. Snipes it quickly. DD, slightly, well, not the greediest TP. It does head down bottom to try and keep the push going a little bit. Even with Aegis, this like I said, not a huge boost for him. Really. They do have shifts relative. The clock is still kind of ticking here. The Sven is getting bigger. He's gonna have his level 18 before too long. Except not opting for a BKB this game, interestingly. Just trying to get away with slightly greedier builds. Just gonna go for the Aghanim Scepter next, actually. So like I said, there's a little bit of sustain for him. Maybe he feels like he just doesn't have to have BKB because he's got the Oracle. But there's a lot of trust to be putting in your Oracle. Doesn't really have a whole lot of items to guarantee his positioning, but so long as they're coordinating well, then it should be fine. And Lena, do you have another item? Picking up the Shadow Blade. So Sparking Arrow not going to be looking for the full 5-on-5, but still continuing to look for kind of these solo pickoffs, using their wards effectively. They're playing over to right now. Victoria and James taking this background, just trying to play around their Sven. James is going to be the target. Sven, does he want to fight? He finds Red Panda once again. Should be finished a game to buy him a couple of seconds. No, he actually just tries to hide. 3-man silence jumping through. XM doesn't have the exorcism, but still committing to the fight. Lycan getting kited around a little bit. They have used the false promise already. And without a false promise, this Death Prophet is in big trouble. XM being kept alive a little bit. SRF coming in with the stun, helping out Sven, getting kited though. Yule's into a sprout. Nowhere to go. DD with the follow-up stun and Sparking Arrow. It takes them a little while. They do manage to break it down. SRF still fighting, but now another side chains and another stun. Finally, the lockdown starting to work, and Sparking Arrow with a beautiful smoke, finding a very, very nice fight. They do not quite manage to get the Death Prophet kill, so XM lives to push out the lanes just that little bit more. And that is kind of the one problem for Sparking Arrows, that they took that fight, but it wasn't really to any objectives, so that they're not really advancing their position too much. I mean, the win probability is still getting dragged back a little bit as they continue to win fights and get more net worth, especially up on Selena, but I think this is still pretty accurate from my assessment of this game. Just like CDEC's team fight is so scary, especially as they continue to pick up items. And yes, Sven really needs some kind of mobility item. I'm not sure if I necessarily 100% agree with the Agnum Scepter as the build, but I know maybe once he gets his level 20, gets the -5 second Stormhammer cooldown, could look pretty good. What the Stormhammer Dispel is about? I guess what, Flame Guard, Frost Shield, about it. Could we see some shenanigans with we do have a Lotus being built up for this Nature's Prophet, so maybe that's where we start to see some Aghanim Scepter shenanigans from this one. Just waiting on the Lycan to reconnect currently. And already, looking like this game is going to be going a little bit longer than any of the games in the previous time that these two teams met. Alright, good to go. CDC, are you ready to play some Dota? So I think the other thing that they were trying to do over here when they kind of got caught was probably come in and get some down. Because the Sven, it's normally a little bit weird, because the way that the map would typically be split up in this kind of situation, or just in general, is that CDC would be taking a little bit more control over the Dire jungle, but Sven really wants control still over the Ancient. So if they can somehow create a situation where he's able to keep control of both Ancient camps, that's amazing for him. But it's kind of a weird way to have to play the map, so they would really need like some good wards over here on the enemy tri-camp area to make that happen. But instead, they've just kind of ended up with almost no vision. Of course, it is always going to be a little bit more difficult to play against the Necro 3. Lycan is getting free deal stuff with that, but they do have to place slightly more unorthodox wards as a result. Otherwise, the Lycans just find them. And the God King's still running around with a trusty shovel here. Is this really the item for him at this point of the game? They've got some Vampire Fangs, I think, taking instead. But I guess it wants a little bit of extra survivability. XM looking to push out mid. Doesn't have the Ags just yet. The Necrobook does get popped. James has got this Blink Dagger, so again, we haven't really seen the true power of CDC's team fight for the last little bit. Just still online for 1 more minute. I'm just going to put himself on the front lines. Doesn't have his Aghanim Scepter now completed. Centaur just going to be going for Lotus up next. Haven't seen too much of the Shadow Blade, but it does enable him to play a little bit more aggressively. And CDC with a 5-man smoke, hardly any vision whatsoever. So just going to put SRF on the front lines. Let's see if this actually finds anything. I'm not sure that it will. maybe the Ember is not really the ideal target. There is an invent here. Maybe they can make that a little bit. Jump forward. Nice slight change. The immediate reaction from Felix. The Wrath of Nature bounces through. They are still looking for block down onto the Ember. Look forward with the Echo Slam. It really got this kill, but are they even going to get him? He's got an Esper. He's still pretty tanky. XM pops the Exorcism. They're looking for Oracle in the background. Red Panda with the lockdown. That's going to prevent any kind of save. Good positioning, but DD not the best positioning from him. Sven jumping on top of him. 30 seconds to go until he's got another Aghanim's Hammer, and they haven't managed to bring down XM. Great Fisher blocking it out. Ame, they're actually to keep the Lycan alive, but his Aegis is being reclaimed. Nicely done with the Shadow Amulet, but now they get further jumps forward. One more on the back line. Gilix, he's got a running. Can he get out of here? Okay, XM finishes that off. James, is he dead to the tower? Oh, yeah, he's dead to the tower. Well, okay. So Oracle buys back, but is even forced into using the False Promise. And just doing tons of damage. Really, the fight-winning thing there was like, XM was half HP of around here, and then I switched over here to ship for a second, but it looks like he's just getting chased this way, and then all of a sudden the Fisher comes across and blocks off the Lycan, and they can't finish the Death Prophet. XM just continues to do a buttload of damage. Now he's got the Aghanim Scepter picked up as well. Of course, the other thing is that DD just doesn't do any damage. He's kind of stuck over here. They're coming in, trying to kill off the Oracle quickly, but one stun and the Lina is done. It's not good with this kind of a build where you've only got 1400 HP. Right, he's even gone for the little Striker Ray damage. OP, alright, TP's in to try and get a very, very aggro ward down, and this courier just happens to be flying over the top, so James gonna get that TP ward. Oh, Lycan. Here comes Sven. Those Necrobooks that he just popped out gonna get cleaned up very quickly, and there's already a killing spree here for Sven. 16.4k net worth. So he out of the meta quite a bit, but definitely a good game forward here. And poor Amber just running around 0 vessel charges to his name. Jump in, Echo, chain stun, here comes Sven. Daddy's home, and Ame, another kill. ED just trying to keep bottom lane pressured in, but with this regen, with the God Strength popped, it does seem like CD's just going to try and make their way down the mid lane. They are pretty close to the next round of neutral items. 27. So if they could quickly farm these Ancients, that would be a pretty big deal, as they're now just looking for DE. James revealing himself, having this outpost for a second. DD just gonna go for the invis, TP out. Red Panda also just gonna head on out of there. Okay, now Sven's got a BKB, and he's got the 5 second, well, -5 second Stormhammer cooldown. So Sven should not be nearly so easy to kite. There's not going to be a Sinister Gaze or anything to deal with him. CD's even checking if there might be some kind of ward up here on this high ground or anything like that. They know that Sparking Arrow are playing scared at this point, as they well should. They don't really have too many other options. Sparking Arrow with smoke. Do not believe that this was caught, but CDC just playing all together. They don't have the Echo for 50 seconds, but other than that, actually also missing the God Strength for the time being. Sven's still plenty strong. Lycan popping everything. Just gonna try and run around to the back lines of this fight, but they're playing pretty well, protecting their Oracle. He's got the Ghost Scepter too. Let's see if Felix is actually able to escape there. Essence Ring and the jump away. Lycan pretty unhappy with having to guilty like that. Roshan's going to be respawning in 30 seconds time. OP is still just trying to pick up the BKB here. They do have the BKB on Lina, and DD just going to be going for a Desolator after that. They really need to find a fight where the Lina can just kind of sit there and auto attack, but that's the other sort of problem with their lineup. I mean, it's an intentional choice going for the just profit off lane, but because of that, they got no front line. So it collapses pretty quickly, and because of that, there's really not going to be easy chances for Lina to just kind of do her thing. Oh, they don't see OP. That he ran south, but he does manage to find Bit, but bit, plus still liking them for the time being. Got a Titan Sliver for the Centaur. I don't even know if it's better than Claw on the Sven. Maybe considers it once he picks up full Daedalus or something like that. But OP still trying to be a nuisance. It does seem like CDEC just gonna try and bid for this top outpost, and that might give them a little bit of extra control that they need over this Roshan pit. Felix scouting, keeping tabs on what's going on here. Just kind of give away his wards somewhat. So I'm just going to be a quick D ward for SRF. And now no vision in the area of the pit for Sparking Arrow. I don't even know if they can take a team fight at this point. I think they need to just play for Rad. The Nature's Prophet and the Lena might even need to just play a little bit crazy and just kind of try and force a tier 3 or something. Man, CDC just popping everything to get this Roshan ASAP. Dire had scanned it out, but Sparking Arrow, I don't know if this is the right decision to try and take this fight. Moving over, Felix should be the one to scout inside of the pit, but Aegis and Cheese already claimed. Cheese over on the death. Sparking Arrow looking for their opportunity, but they've already got the jump onto the Ember. Felix cut down. What more can they find? DD putting the burst damage onto the Oracle will be able to bring him down, but he just has to run for it now with the BKB getting chased down. SRF running after him on the other side of this fight. James trapped inside of the Sprout. Octa just fighting his way through everything. It's the BKB pop. He's still got the Aegis. He's being left alone. Nice defensive Sprout to keep her alive. The drag back. James by trying to defend his Sven. Does have Echo Slam also available. XM tries TPO. It ends up being cancelled by something. Echo Slam onto 2. James the Fisher onto 4. Now Ame can start with the auto attack. He is pretty tanky with all of bonus armor though. And Sven's just gonna run back over the Death Prophet. They do have the silence. Sir, now with the stun, can they finally bring down the Sven? They managed to, but CDC gonna keep on brawling. Like all they can do is just sit there and auto attack. Doesn't have the wolf form anymore. Felix, did he buy back? He did, but looked like he might just be brought down one more time. We'll have the silence. James doesn't have the Fisher for a little bit, but they don't need it. They've got SRF with Blink Stomp, and the rest of CDC turning up to save the day. It took them an hour to kill. They killed Sven pretty quickly twice, but CDC's resources to put in there. And what were the buybacks? So we did have a buyback from James, we had a buyback from Felix, and we did also have a buyback from Red Panda. And again, I think this game is just getting further and further out of reach for Sparking Arrow. Like the Lycan is just getting, his position is getting worse and worse this game. Like he doesn't even have the AC. What's his net worth? Is it? Yeah, 13k, which is respectable, but pretty far behind the cores on the side of DC. And SRF just gonna be picking up the Halberd next, so they're just getting tankier and tankier all the time. XM getting his Shivas as well. Ame setting his sights on a Satanic. And OP really trying to tank up. Going for Shivas next on top of everything this man has. I think you know, to describe this as a crap load of armor. But what's he gone talent wise? He's also gone the +8 armor talent. And we do have this Dipto on D. But like you saw in that last fight, right? He killed the Oracle and then he just got chased for the rest of the fight. Doesn't have anyone to actually hold back the enemy team, so they just sit there and no attack. I don't actually see him. No. Oh. James, follow-up lockdown, silence as well. Red Panda's like, buddy, this is all I got for you. I'm also gonna Glimmer, buying him a second, and he actually gets away. The auto attack still chasing, and that comes with a ghost as well. All right, like using a bunch of remnants to get out there. OP, grateful for the information. It's just gonna keep on pushing over at top. Ame pressures at bottom, level 24. I don't think anyone really close to him in the game currently, or at least nobody on the side of Sparking Arrow. 10k now the lead. Win probability still kind of plateauing a little bit. Yeah, there's still some network accumulation going on the side of SAG. And you know, I guess Ember can always kind of scale and becoming a hero of this game if things go long enough. We're playing very defensively, almost at the level 15, so we'll be able to play even more offensively with that one cast range. Help out a bit. OP is just up. Well, God's pop straight up onto the high ground. CDEC not wasting any time. Exorcism also being used. Here comes the glyph, where they're just looking to force them back right now. Lycan is still trapped on the tier 2 over at top. He doesn't want to come in for the full fight. DD with a little bit of harassment. And still more than healthy enough on these front lines. Can they get any kind of on the way back out? DD pops the BKB, but again, the question is, can he actually stand here and just get auto attacks on off? He's doing pretty well against Ezra. OP just walking into this fight. Exoslap doesn't connect onto anything. OP still auto attacking them as they try and stampede and retreat their way back out. Slight not going to catch into anyone. James will be brought down. Ame goes in, doesn't get the BKB Satanic off just yet. Now the BKB getting popped. Lycan pretty survivable. Ame looking for a target with the Satanic. He's also got the P's, and Lycan just not finding any targets. His ultimate wears out now. Sven tanks the Laguna Blade like it's nothing. He hops over onto OP, doesn't want to bother auto-attacking him. XM finally chasing down the Lycan. Double kill, another stun. Red Panda wanted to keep the fight going, but now they're just getting turned around on. CDEC finding their footing, not having to kite out that Lycan ultimate, and all it takes is the sacrifice of James to win this fight. And probably just go and continue to push. Why not? Straight into the mid lane. Lycan dead for 50, no buyback. There is a buyback for the Ninja's Profit. DD just trying to get his backdoor protection re-enabled, but actually there are some siege creeps in here already, so this could just be mega creeps for CDEC here. Yeah, middle lane down, still 30 seconds to go. Ninja's Profit doesn't want to use the buyback. Doesn't even feel like it's really going to help. Alright, here comes the buyback. They've got 3 trying defense like chains. Well, just a slight for now. Jump forward. Let's get the yield up. He's also the BKB. DD just has to turn around. A couple of auto attacks onto the centaur, but he's got the Halberd. He's got the Oracle helping him out. Jump forward. Felix chopping around OP. Be a little bit tankier. Blade Mail also helping out somewhat. Nice 2-man stun from DD. That's the kind of front lining that I was thinking about. It's not enough. And now Profit dead for 100 seconds, and as the Mega Creeps claimed. Yeah, it's a slightly longer game, but still the same result. CDEC will be taking the first game here in the best of 3 series over DPL-CDA. They put up a decent fight. I think they just kind of missed their timing a bit.
bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is falling. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant team Dire team backlash. Radiant team back. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
In the spirit.
Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team.
Void incarnate.
Keeper of the light.
Welcome back, folks, to your coverage of DPL-CDA. We've got CDEC versus Sparking Arrow Gaming, and this is game number 2. We're already getting into the draft, and Sparking Arrow Gaming running it back a little bit here. They're getting rid of the Shaker, they're getting rid of the Death Prophet, but other than that, they are still going for this first pick on the Ember Spirit, showing some belief in the hero. And over on the side of CDEC, we've got them with a little bit of a different opening as they go for a Void Spirit plus a Keeper of the Light here. So, I guess Void Spirit Caudal works pretty similarly to a lot of the other spirits with Caudal. I don't know if they would ever consider running the Void Spirit as maybe a 4. I know that it works great in 3. It kind of works. It works fantastically as a mid laner. I don't imagine that this is like too much of a laning combo necessarily, but I don't see anything wrong with the Void pick in the situation. Sparking already digging pretty deep into their reserve time, and just coming back with more of the same. This is the same opener that they had in the previous game. We'll see if they take their draft in a slightly different direction later on. And I just want to see the Ember being, you know, I think even if they are going to go for these like counter pick matchups, I think you just have to run it as a core, and you just have to, you know, you have to kind of find some way to have a game, or at least in my opinion, if you're going to first pick it like this, it needs to do more for you. Either I think you got to run core, or they need to have a more convincing performance from their position for. Maybe it's unfair of me. Maybe I'm I'm going a little bit too much on my focus and my hate for this position for Ember Spirit, but I just really don't believe in it. Okay, so Centaur getting banned, Sparking Arrow mostly was focusing on heroes that CDC picked in the previous game. It's kind of interesting to me that the ban priorities have shifted so much for these two teams in just a short number of days. It could be that they are scrim partners, that kind of thing. They've just been researching each other's other games from some of these other events that have been going on. But okay, so TA is the ban. I guess EDC not feeling like they're going to have answers for that. And I do think mid lane TA can be pretty nice to have if you've got a safe lane Ember Spirit, because as much as Ember can do good damage, he's never going to be able to take buildings for your team. So you do kind of have to, if you've got a mid lane Ember, then you do kind of need a little bit more of not necessarily a carry mid, but in that vein of having some building damage and some objective taking coming from mid lane, as CDC with a very squishy, very spammy lineup here. I don't know if there's any thought in the mind of Sparking Arrow to pick up like Pugna, or maybe looking at a Jug or a Lifestealer or something here. But
10 seconds
yeah, this CDC lineup is
5 seconds remaining.
very, very nuke happy. They don't really have a whole lot else going on just yet. Like even their D push is not amazing. So they've got a good gank for sure, and good spell damage, but zero objective taking thus far. Nothing to do against BKBs
Radiant
at all.
Clinks.
Sparking Arrow just gonna go for Clinks in this spot. Okay, so it is a hero that's been pretty popular, especially if you've been watching Crit stream. You've definitely seen plenty of Clinks. It does feel a little bit like so much of the game for Clinks is just whether or not the early game goes well.
10 seconds remaining.
Like if the early game goes well, fantastic. If you're running around and getting kills and getting your resets on your death pact, then you're looking great. Otherwise, the game can kind of start to catch up on him a little bit. Of course, his laning is very strong, but CDC just gonna go for a Mars. Okay, so it's still not really a whole lot of objective taking. Pretty good against the Clinks. I don't know if I've seen people utilizing the Bulwark toggle that much to protect your team, but I think that's something that's worth bringing up here. I imagine that it works against the Burning Army. So if Mars just like pops up his shield, he can redirect all those projectiles back to him and keep his team alive. As Sparking Arrow now going for a Veno. Okay, I don't mind it. It kind of takes objectives. You can definitely tank up in a way that would be kind of annoying for CDC to deal with you, but have they now opened themselves up to getting like anti-maged or something?
Remaining.
I guess the Clinks can kind of hunt him if that ended up being the pick. But CDC definitely need they need a 1v5 hero for sure at this point. There's kind of there's no question about it. It has to be some kind of like AM Terrorblade Meepo, something that's going to have all the hero damage. Well, not necessarily all the hero damage, but something that's going to do all the building damage for them. this game, because otherwise I don't know how they take objectives at all. This is even good here.
10 seconds remaining.
It's like not a bad Phantom Lancer game. That was something that Sparking Arrow were banning a bunch in that earlier series that I keep referencing, but Sparking Arrow with the Tide as the last grab. So what's going on here? I guess just Clinks 1, Tide 3, Veno or Ember 4, the other one going mid, and Lich of course going to be the 5.
10 seconds remaining.
With the Slark Band out, what are CDEC going to go for? So I think this
5 seconds.
Hunter is supposed to be like a little bit of a deterrent, something like the Phantom Lancer getting picked up. And does of course give them some more nice team fight. Isn't going to die too easily to a Spear, Mystic Flare, or something like that. So really just up to Ame to decide what hero he wants to play situation. I do think that there are players that would take Anti-Mage in this spot. I'm not sure if Ame is necessarily one of them. So he's got Coddle in lane. I don't love the look of Troll Warlord this game, but you know it is a pretty good lane. Coddle Troll, and certainly a strong laner against what Tide is kind of bringing to the table. What else? Jug is probably tolerable. It's so hard against these like last 2 picks from Sparking Arrow. You really can't pick traditional melee carries. Like you're just gonna get killed. You're just gonna get you're just gonna get anchor smashed. But they just go for the Phantom Lancer in the end. So I guess the Tide not enough to deter. Okay, so it's actually wait. It's position 4 Clinks. Well, that is not what I was talking about. Okay, so 4 Clinks with the Tide. So what? Gush plus arrows to zone you out. We've got God King on the position Ember, and over on the other side, yeah, just Exam playing the Void Spirit against this Venomancer at mid. So I could see that being an alright matchup for Veno, in all honesty. Alright. Well, let's see, man. Felix really likes playing these slightly unorthodox position 4s. I maybe have slightly more belief in the position 4 Clinks than I do in the 4 Ember. Though maybe some of that is just because they have this Tide this game. So they do actually have some like AoE team fight and whatnot on the lineup. Lockdown for PL is not great, and Ember not the Phantom Lancer counter that he once was, but we will just have to see how this works out. Could be I think this could be a very, very difficult lane for the Phantom Lancer, so maybe there's a chance of some musical lanes here. But they do also need to be careful. I could definitely see a world where the Phantom Lancer also gets like 2 points up in Lance pretty early on here, and then with the Lance spam on the Chakra, they kind of force the Clinks out of the lane a little bit. Let's see what's Felix buying. So he's bought some regen at the beginning here, not being too greedy or anything. Does definitely, his build seems to suggest that they're just going to try and contest this lane, put pressure on. And Sparking Arrow running down bot with 4 heroes currently. Ember is still going to decide what kind of item build he wants. He was like, all right, well, I definitely want Quelling Blade and some tangos. What else? What do I do against Mars Skywrath Mage? Well, I guess I'll just try and buy a wand real fast and ferry some regen. All right, what SRF with the tip on OP God who just immediately types meme in all chat. Sure. All right, I'm just gonna be going for Tarrasque early on here. I guess it's not that good of like a full hood game, and it does seem like these PLs in China have gone away from opting for the full hood first. The Ring of Tarrasque kind of back in fashion. Just poking and prodding. Gonna go do some scouting. They haven't seen anybody up top, so should know that most of them are down here, but I think he was hoping to maybe sneak up. grab a bounty for himself. He's already opened up this pole. He's opened up some little juke paths.
Begins.
Really thinking about the way that they want to play this lane. Could even be a situation where they're not unhappy with nuking the wave a little bit. I'm not sure if the Keeper of the Light is even going to bother getting Illuminate, but they could push out pretty hard and, you know, ban blind and then just try and run pulls. They have not blocked the big camps. All camps being blocked. On the other side, it's just vision for CDEC. And I guess worth pointing out that, again, we actually have the same drafting setup. So I guess CDEC favoring Radiant overall, and Sparking Egg are always favoring this first pick. But let's see if this core Ember has a slightly better time of it here. James already laying in some pretty hefty harassment, but you know, SRF also taking it back the other direction. Phantom Lancer just getting leaked as expected. Felix with the arrows has been pushed underneath the tower a little bit, so Amish should be able to get some CS over here.
Courier has been killed.
Ooh, Red Panda's courier actually dead. James in a good position to snipe that out. How's this mid lane going? 7-2 against 2-0 thus far. Definitely not what you want. I guess the Void Spirit does have pretty significant base damage advantage, and he gets melee, so he's also getting some quelling benefit, but should start to change a bit once the Venomenter starts getting up some more levels and able to zone him out a little bit. I'm kind of curious. I also don't want to miss any kills in the side lanes. This top lane's a pretty heavy pressure lane on the poor Ember. SRF has pretty chewed through most of his, maybe getting some more carried out with the second. The Victoria does manage to go over there and get the D-ward on their pole camps. It seems like actually, does Felix even want to body block this? Who blocked that there? Did anyone block it? It didn't spawn, so there you go. He's already got the death pact up. Phantom Lancer getting a little bit too aggressive there with the rush, and now Ame in some danger. Nice blind backwards from the Coddle. But they have to be so respectful of the gush plus arrows. Ton of damage coming out from Felix here. And now with blind on cooldown, he knows that he can just go up as aggressively as he wants. Got onto the Keeper of the Light. Blind coming off cooldown. Can they get some misses? Yes, they can. I don't know if that last touch would have been enough to kill him. Does have the buckler, but it's certainly not a fun lane, and faulting a little bit in Ame's CS. They both picked pretty cancerous off-lane dual lanes. Red Panda's already chewed through all of mana, but he's got a mango. Ember actually just looking for a bottle. And yeah, this mid lane starting to go a little bit better for DD as he picks up that second point in the Gale. Able to force out of the lane until he's able to pop this salve. Gonna take him a little bit longer with the recent nerfs. So not getting any of those CS under the tower, and then it's gonna close the gap pretty significantly. Only a 4 CS lead at this point. Clink's even okay. I'm not sure if you got a side pull there. Looks like maybe just interrupting a little bit of a pull, using the death pact on the big creep. Clink's TPing top. Okay. He's got some death pact duration. He's got his point up in the skeleton walk. Doesn't have a ton of mana for searing arrows, but should be enough. And they do have the 1-1-1 on Red Panda as well. SRF needs to be careful. Does get the spear back, but Felix is here with the damage. They do have a point in the chains, but can they close the gap onto SRF? He also gets a brace delivered. The dive continues. The rebuke comes out, and that is actually going to be SRF surviving. So really taking a lot of pressure. Some Lancer at bottom, and Ame, I think, should now probably just deny the wave hard. Over at mid lane, James making the rotation to bring down DD, and that's actually the first blow there. Oh no, well. Top 3 CS, all on the side of CDC so far. The Clink's kind of stranded up top. Just gonna pick up a couple of clarities here, but they have completely let the Phantom Lancer out from underneath this pressure. You're getting a soft pull going, so that's gonna be some creeps denied away from OP God. Has just rushed the Morbid Mask for a little bit more sustain. But now with another rotation top, James pressuring onto the Ember. can't quite hit the spear, but even if they had, wouldn't have been enough to kill. And Felix, he looks like running fast, but he's really going slow on his way up to top. Is he just on a bit of bounty request? Might be the answer. Ember even coming over really wants this bottle refill. All right, looks like James is dead, but they do also have a TP from the Keeper of the Light. X have even making the rotation here. Happen to be in the neighborhood grabbing a bounty of his own. They will turn it into a little bit of a trade. They spot Felix as they chopped at the trees. Spear was available, but what damage is Keeper of the Light going to be providing at this stage? Not a whole lot to really do there. Is DD still okay? He's just maxing the poison stings so far. No points up in the playboard, so not really going to be a whole lot of building pressure there. Since they know that the coddle is top. Ooh, slight but no chains. Okay. It still would have been a tough kill against the blind, but seeing both supports top, Felix now sets his sights on towards mid lane. Was there just in time for the potential rune, and it's actually going to be a haste for DD. Everything getting dropped on XM, but he just immediately TP's home. Alright. James and Felix just passing one another by. Well, how do you do? Seraph, right? Slight chains, blind, even knocking back the clinks. Maybe the drag in, and TP's to help out. James is running up here. This Mars proved to be just a little bit too tanky of a target, and now James spots that right hand. Oh, slowing him down. Felix thinking about the jump. Needs to get those boots out of the backpack here. Oh, one touch, two touch. James still doing okay. Finishes off Red Panda. Here comes the blind. So they've got the evasion against the auto attack. Still no searing change for 2 seconds. SRF looking for the spear. Oh, it's not quite on the money, but James still gets a double kill anyway. And this impromptu tri-lane versus tri-lane definitely working out just fine for CDEC. Sorry about the squeaks, it's my chair. Alright, well, Venom's getting some pressure on this mid tower. I definitely think that the Void Spirit is going to have overall game here, and XM looks like he's even been doing a little bit of stacking for himself, so grabbing some additional farm. SRF playing very aggro on this Ember Spirit. Trouble for Victoria, doesn't have the blind, so he's going to be brought down. Felix now turning his attention over there. DD even making the rotation, and man, they really want this kill. Red Panda's got a Sinister Gaze and a Frost Blast. SRF juking for dear life, but has been caught out now by the Gale. He's maybe thinking about it, spear back, but they still got interrupts, and yeah, he's also going to end up dying, so some nice death back damage for the Clinks. But are they going to get anything more out of this? Because the Mars has been a pain at top this entire time, but that is 4 heroes up here, and you have to ask yourself what's happening elsewhere. Why the Phantom Lancer is just not getting pressured at all, and OP just kind of getting run at. XM making the rotation across. He's got 2 charges of the Crystal Step, lands the taunt easily. OP doesn't even have the Ravage skilled, and he gets cleaned up by that last Astral Step pop. Yeah, Venom just buying a bunch of small items so far. He's got a Bracer, Band, Stick. Ember getting run at, but should be okay with the 3 points in the Flame Guard. Red Panda just looking for a single pull. Alright, so what's this Clinks doing? Felix is just soaking experience at bottom. Has opted for the second point in the death path. I've seen people maxing the skeleton wall, and only eventually going back for the Burning Army. The skill has really been nerfed into irrelevance. And XM actually, well, tied TP's back bottom, and Ame and XM decide that they want to put a little bit of pressure on him once again. Raindrop already getting popped. James also coming down to the silence. Back into the taunt. Still no Ravage available. OP surviving a little bit longer. Astral Step coming off cooldown. XM jumping through. Does have a TP to get himself out of there if he needs it. But looked like he might even just be fine. Yeah, I think he's A-okay. So Tide getting camped. They're enabling the Phantom Lancer up top, knowing that the supports are elsewhere. SRF and Victoria just walking at this Ember. And yeah, XM and Ame both having totally fine games. Yeah, so Felix does go back for the second point in the Skeleton Walk. James just opting to max out the compressor shot thus far. They have a dust or anything. Okay, they do have a dust. Red Panda gonna be the target. Just put the Frost Shield off. Because he managed to pick up the bounty rune. He did actually. Nicely done. DD comes over. Doesn't have any mana available. XM's actually on the hunt for him. Gotta be a little careful. Felix is here with the haste they just picked up. Alright, so that's the end of that. We're still just working on his phase. XM, what is the item build to be for him? He's just buying a couple more little items here, it looks like. Tome coming out to the Skywrath Mage. He might just get the Mystic Fire right away. Good spear, and Mystic Fire should be a pretty easy kill. They really want this Phantom Lancer down here. There's Ravage waiting afterwards. Can they figure out which one's the real one? Yes, they can. They cleared it up pretty quickly. Here comes the Chain Frost as well. He's already used the Doppel. So no way out. And finally some pressure arrives for this Phantom Lancer. And a pretty nicely timed rotation as well. With the seed creep up. They'll be tanking the tower. And should be able to take this out quickly though. CDC kind of making the same play. And a complete whip on the Gale at mid. Oh, DD just wanted to hold the tower. Looks like with these TPs, they might be able to get some kind of a deny. XM just wants to keep on fighting the Will-O-Wisp onto both of them. Here comes the follow-up taunt. That's going to give them another Will-O-Wisp. I don't think he's walking out this one. XM even snipes the courier as well. Insult to injury. Doesn't get completely lucky and find the bounty rune for good measure, but, well, Ame will be the one to clean up the tier 1 in the end. Mars even gets the deny at bottom. SRF TPing in down there. He's actually going for a Yule Scepter. Alright. I guess what? Guaranteed spears. Dispel against the Ember. Now running him down, but he's got the cloak coming out. He's got the 21 charges trying to toggle. He's got the spear over onto the Lich, so we're gonna lag for a second. Here comes the taunt. Damage, he does have a remnant out, but XM still chasing, needs to land this remnant. Not quite in the right position, just a little bit on the range there. This Void Spirit is just everywhere. Phantom Lancer's now found a little home over on the map. Ame even just opting to be a little bit greedier. Does pick up the full Yasha first before going back to the Defusal. Not feeling pressured to come and join these fights with this team. What does Venomancer got? Veno's just got an urn. Man, Veno is really not having much of a game. And now top 3 of the net worth all over on the side of CD. Felix trying to make some kind of a rotation here at mid. Is it really worth? Is the fact really worth more than just getting more points in Skeleton Walk? Lower cooldown, more attack speed, more move speed, more duration versus just 1 more minus armor and 100 more. I don't know. Can't say I'm a big fan. Felix Courier, alright. Quick Courier kill. They do have a Will-O-Wisp if they really want him dead, but deciding against it. And what was their vision situation? I think they may have spotted a couple of other heroes over here. A Sparking Arrow with another Ravage available. Try and make a play. They do also have the Poison Nova. XM would be a good target, but they don't really have the lockdown for him. And the Remnant landing. He wants this regen rune, and he's gonna get it. SRF running forward. Here comes the spear. Can they focus down the Tide Hunter? The Kraken Shell, not the timeliest for him. Phantom Lancer jumping into the backline. This Chain Frost doing decent work against Ame. He will be able to jump up onto the high ground and find his escape from this fight. Might even be able to get a kill for his trouble. He's pretty tanky. SRF does pay the price. Sparking Arrow bring him down, but Ember locked down on the high ground. Just too many silences, too many stuns. He will also end up dying, and already a 5k lead in CDEC's favor. I mean, just look at this. This net worth and XP is pretty grim. I don't know why Felix rotated so much. I thought bottom lane was going fine. I really... they were pressuring the PL pretty nicely. Maybe they felt like they didn't have kill potential down there, but... Alright, blind back. Here comes the Burning Army. Victoria does manage to grab the banner before he dies. And it's going to be 2 bounties up top for CDEC. So... extending their net worth lead even that little bit more. Felix is in pretty deep here. They're kind of looking at Sam. There's silence available for James. We're just hiding backwards for a second. Felix still considering his options. Sparking Air just walking at them currently. No Ravage available. I guess no Arena, but only for 1 more second. And after that, SRF could maybe look to walk his way over to this fight. His TP scroll is on cooldown for the time being. Everybody else's TP is available. Phantom Lancer are going to pick up the bounty. Have they figured out which one the real one is? He's ready to use the Doppel. Here comes the Gush. Support's trying to help him out. He does get the Phantom Rush forward. SRF has the Arena. And they can go for this. Who's going to be the target? He decides on the spear onto the Tide Hunter. XM is just looking for Red Panda. They bring him down. Astral step forward through 2. Then bring down the secondary support. Ember Spirit still looking for this fight. Keeper of Light doesn't have the Will-O-Wisp for 10 seconds time, so Sparking Arrow actually able to keep the chase going here. Nice spear backwards. XM still fighting, but waiting on cooldowns for the time being. Looks like Victoria is going to be brought down. One more touch. Man, he had the blind and the Will-O-Wisp just coming back off cooldown. XM still fighting. Throws out a remnant and does just Astral Step his way out of there. Okay, pretty good. Nice that they bring the Phantom Lancer down. And they have Ravage back up in 5 seconds. Fortunately, not really getting any ejectors out here. They do get the taunt onto the Emperor, into the follow-up silence. Oh no. OP trying to see if he could help, but even the Ravage would not have saved him there. CDEC just keeping everybody mid. We just have full 5-on-5 run at mid. Go to Ravage, gonna connect onto 4. They don't quite get the Will-O-Wisp out in time. Here it come, looking for a little bit of a turnaround. XM does have another remnant, throws it out, not catching onto anybody. Phantom Lancer fighting in the backlines, but does not have the defusal. So Ame just gonna take his leave from this fight. Tier 1 mid almost dead. So it will be claimed in a couple more auto attacks by DD, who is just going for a Vessel currently. Ember just going to be going for a Maelstrom. Felix does have his medallion picked up now. Still playing very aggressively, just constantly scouting. Sparking Arrow still running at them, but they've managed to drag the net worth and the net worth experience and the win probability back in their direction. But game gets really hard once Void Spirit gets this Ags. This Ags feels a little bit ridiculous to me. Like, good stats, goes without saying. And then it also gives you survivability because you're getting more Resonant Pulses. And it's more nuke damage, and it's more farming just by the nature of the spell. And then it also has 2-second silence tacked onto it for some reason. So, jump into the backlines with your free mobility skill, silence both of the supports who are gonna have 0 chance of having any kind of way to deal with it early in the game, and you just slay them for free. I mean, he could even just use the silence to be a nuisance for the top, right? It's not that much damage. I guess it is. It's a decent amount of damage, but you know, even if Tide like gets hit by that and he krakens off the first silence, you can just use the second one. That's where the game starts to get a little bit more difficult. They go to Yule's catch onto this Venomancer and lock down Frost, helping them out a little bit. They've also got the fear onto the real Phantom Lancer. So Ame not doing a whole lot of damage with this defusal. Just trying to buy a little bit more time, retreating out on the other side of the fight, not able to rejoin his team. Here comes XM though, looking to clean it up. They will lose Ame. XM, just an astral step up onto the high ground. And now a dissimulate to continue the retreat. James has already blown his combo. And another nice catch from the Ember. James has some stick charges. OP still chasing him. Nice blind backwards. Get the support alive. It does kind of suck for CDEC that their Phantom Lancer keeps dying like this. Maybe Ame just needs to chill out for a little bit, like pick up the Manta and maybe whatever item he was considering after that, and then start coming back into these fights, because it does seem to be having a little bit of a hard time. But this Aghanim Scepter is still an insane timing We're still not having the best of games. He's really just going to try and itemize against the Phantom Lancer. Gets the Maelstrom first. It's going to be going for the Battle Fury after that. And what's Venno got? A Spirit Vessel. Ooh, Dust not going to catch on Felix. Just meant to break that smoke. And Sparking Arrow still with these ultra aggressive plays. Savage back up now, so continuing to fight wherever they can. Now queuing up a Silver Edge. Does he even have the full Manta? Not even want the full Manta? I guess it doesn't seem like he has it. And they are just running at him. Alright. Slight, little bit off the money. Just gonna go TP over to the tier 3. Might still consider this fight. They do have a Willow available. They do have Sam going over a top. Amish dives in deep, looking towards Felix, burning up a bunch of his mana. These illusions shortly after that. He's got some mangoes to fighting shape, and XM is still just showing top, pressuring a little bit up here. James also revealing his presence. Do they even want to TP back here? Okay, here comes the TPs. XM. What target can he find? He really wants the squishy backlines. Might not be easy. Nice slight chain, catching out onto 2. SRF gonna get caught. But here comes the Will-O-Wisp. They haven't popped the Mars just yet. The Spear over onto the Venomancer. Mystic Flare on top of everything. He is surviving a little bit longer, but XM's there with the follow-up silence. Jumping over onto Red Panda. He's not looking very healthy, though. Gets caught by the Fear, and Sparking Arrow actually cleaning up this team fight. Another slice onto the Phantom Lancer. Ame now dead, and that is a 4-for-1. Well, just nobody doing any damage really at all, and Ember getting a ton done. Man, got off 6 Side of Fists. Very, very nice. Venno dies in the end. He's so tanky with the hood and the vessel, and he got his spells off, so that's definitely his job done. Not the flashiest hero in the world for DD, but seems to be working. And Felix actually almost also picked up. Not going to be going for the Battle Fury in the end. Does just have Yules queued up at this point. Maybe a little bit of a response to the things coming out from the Void Spirit, who is actually going to be going for a BKB after that last fight played out. James looking for a combo onto the Ember and actually gets the solo kill. Even if he dies here, he's going to be more than happy with that. And he does actually have some backup in the area. XM sees 3 heroes. There's the 3-man sounds, the taunt onto the Clinks. Second nuke, Astral step out. And with the Dissimulate, looks like he should also be okay. DD still kind of chasing, but SRF is here. So can't really afford to go too hard. Man, that was very... Alright, well, Ame, it's on you. Just go farm. I think he's been a little bit baited coming to all of these team fights. Like, sure, Sparking Arrow have been playing ultra aggressively, but if he was an item ahead, which I think he could be at this stage of the game, it would be a very different situation, though. I guess they have just been running at him. Could maybe ask his team to be a wall, just have the Coddle kind of floating, tanking ganks, and he could be farming in the meantime. It does seem like they've shifted gears a little bit into kind of aiming for this next item timing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I worry a little bit that their plan is to like try and break and kill the Tide. I don't know how reliable of a plan that's going to be, even without the Kraken Shell. OP is still pretty tanky. Well, we'll just have to see. They've got the Ravage back up, and so with that, seems like they might just be going for another tower. But yeah, Phantom Lancer are continuing to get run at. They've got good wards, but the support, are not really trying to protect them. Like Victoria's just up here kind of hanging behind the Mars. James is pushing out the lanes as well. And Wood Spirit's taking the farm from him. So yeah, he's committed to the Silver Edge plan at this point. And Ember just going to be going back for an Axe, so no intention of going for the battle. Battle Fury this game. Or at least not for the time being. Tide also just trying to itemize against Phantom Lancer a little bit more, picking up the Shivas. Veno just going to be going for a BKB. What else could he be going for in this situation? I guess there's nothing that's that amazing. Is Aeon the same thing as BKB this game? I guess not. Man, this Nether Shell's pretty nice. Even just 8% spell damage, when you're doing as much spell damage as Venomancer, it's gonna add up. SRF also just going to be going for a BKB. All right, so everyone's looking for Ravage answers or just Tide answers in general currently. Not a whole lot that they can do about this Ember unless they somehow find him first, but it's just not going to happen. The Veno and the Tide are always going to be sitting on the front lines, sieging the buildings. So you would have to catch like a really good smoke wraparound to kill Ember this, or kill him first. Void Spirit gonna be the target. Excellent. Let's have 2 Astral Steps to get out of here. So yeah, there you go. Astral Step number 1, Astral Step number 2. No time wasted. SRF with the Dragon Scale. Sieging up on top. They do not have a whole lot of vision, so being somewhat careful about it. Phantom Lancer scouting on the high ground now. Finding a little bit more farm. Alright, there you go. That's the end of that. Silver Edge still a while away. What do we got on the side of Sparking? I really thought that this Deso was going to be a little bit faster for Felix, but I guess there just hasn't been a whole lot of farm for him. There is the BKB up on the Venomancer. They are currently beelining top, but maybe this is okay if they then come and push it over to the tower. Like get them all, force them all the way out. Push the lane all the way out, take the outpost, take tier 1. Completely reset the sides of the map for a little while. They're actually hunting for the Phantom Lancer in here. Put the ward on the high ground. They do scout him out. Ame just forced to commit to the fight. He does actually have the Shadow Blade to get a little bit further away. So if they have any more detection for him, he's just going to try and fight this one out as Felix actually dying in the back lines. SRF and James finding the combination onto him. And they both managed to get out, but their big strong carry in Ame is now actually getting overtaken by his Void Spirit. And XM is actually just going for a Deso. Where Phantom Lancer falters, he will pick up the slack and become more of the carrier for this game, it appears.
Radiant's top tower is
Veno now just gonna be going back for some boots of travel. Definitely gonna help in getting these lanes out. Trying to force their timing a little bit more. And again, we are back to Operation Battle Fury for Ember Spirit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has
Very indecisive about the build this game.
Radiant's
He's got a
top
Yules.
tower
I guess the Yules is also about the Skywrath combo. Like the way that he died top is I don't want to die like that again. So just gonna get the Yules fixed in that kind of situation. Oh, but they could make a go if he uses himself after the silence. All right, silence taunt. Don't even need the Skywrath silence. Just enough damage there. Great little combination from XM. This was kind of some space created as Sparking Arrow were actually heading into the Roshan pit, but CDEC have cottoned on to what's going on, and they are here to contest. They don't have any vision over here just yet. Phantom Lancer pushing out the mid lane. Has the Silver Edge recipe already picked up, but still needs the ultimate orb as CDEC just kind of babysitting Roshan. They're not interested in going in there themselves, but really making sure that Sparking Arrow are not taking it. Going to be wasting some of their time. Yeah. Orb of Destruction also picked up here for CDEC. That might be pretty nice for XM, though, for the time being. Seems like he's happy with Enchanted Quiver. Actually opted for the Dagon after that. Alright. So Deso is no longer the plan, I suppose. Sparking Arrow once again walking to the Roshan pit. Felix now just has a BKB. Top lane SRF. They do not get to do it on the high ground. Maybe that was not communicated to him from the Phantom Lancer. Alright, he's just deeping out. Buys a little bit more time. James is also pressuring bottom. He's working his way towards a Hex. He's also got a Shadow Blade of his own. Alright.
Never refuse.
No, OP finds himself a Paladin Sword. Gonna be happy with that. There isn't really anyone else in his team that wants it. So gonna get some big anchor smashes, or well, at least it's big healing. He is not gonna be easy to kill. We'll see though. They have not revealed this Silver Edge quite yet, so that might catch him out the first time that it happens. Then they can just get the silence and the lockdown and the magic amp as well from James, and that seems to be the intended play here from CDEC. There is a haste on this Tidehunter for just a little bit, but it's not that long. They need to break. There's the break. There's the silence. Here's the damage. Will-O-Wisp as well. OP God is down. They get the spear onto the Ember. That's life number 1. Do they have any follow-up lockdown? They've got a Remnant waiting for him. Oh, and it's just way too much damage. CDEC finding their timing perfectly. What an execution. XM even looking for a little bit more. Catches the Remnant onto Red Panda. Ghost Scepter and a walk away. He'll be okay. But CDEC now looking to force it. Can they go high ground? Not easy against Venomancer, but I think they're going to poke and prod. Maybe look for some buybacks. They do force out the 10-second BKB from DD. They're using his cooldowns to try and defend this tier 3 tower, but they are still forcing it. It's still dead for 7. With some bounty runes to go and collect. Is there still one down here? Yeah. Felix kind of wanted it, but they're gonna get advance. No, XM's the one to come and claim it. CDC find themselves a little bit more farm time. Oh man, the Mindbreaker plus Silver Edge is actually brutal for the Tide. Like, unless he can see the Phantom Lancer as he's coming in invis, then he's just gonna get silenced plus broken. And it's 1.5 seconds, so that should be enough of a window for the next disable to come in, and 4 seconds on the Silver Edge, as we saw, more than enough to kill the Tidehunter if everybody's focusing. But Sparking Out, their answer to this is just going to be to walk down mid. I mean, the Will-O-Wisp is on cooldown, but only for another 25 seconds. And needs to be kind of careful here. Bottom lane getting pressured out by James. Felix is the one with the Paladin Sword. Alright. Tide just taking the Titan Sliver. Hoping to survive against the Silver Edge combinations from CDEC. But they're just smoked up one more time. What are they gonna find? They get vision over onto Red Panda. He's just gonna get popped pretty much instantly. They actually miss on that second Astral Step, but Ame's found his target. They do have a buyback available for this time, but I don't know if they're gonna use it. James still surviving. SRF with the 3-man arena. DD does just pop the BKB to walk on out of there. Tide buying back into the game, but it's an insanely long TP. Still 3 seconds to go. And CDEC, they just fully sound the retreat. XM retreats to the right, everybody else heads left, and everyone on CDEC is going to be just fine. 2 buybacks put into that. They still lose the Ember, and Phantom Lancer just straight back to pushing on the mid lane. He's going to have a BKB before too long. We've already got the BKB on SRF, as we saw, and the BKB on the Void Spirit, which is still not being used, by the way. XM is had a pretty easy time of things this game as the Void Spirit. Oh, Phantom Lancer. Tide. Silence break, still broken, but does have the team here backing him up a little bit with the Frost Shield. But yeah, everything just wow. We actually moved all the way back to even on everything, kind of around that like early 20-minute mark. We've moved back DC's direction off of the back of some very nice plays from them. And man, is Ame going for... Is he going for BKB plus? Okay, no. He's not going for BKB plus Satanic. He's just going Manta Satanic. Feeling confident in his survivability. and his team's ability to help him out. How about this BKB from Felix? Like, what does it even do? Why not just buy the Death Zone and do a little bit more damage? What are you doing by surviving? I still have pretty doubts about these position 4 picks in both games. Maybe if they were able to pressure, but XM's got a gem now, so the scouting is really not going to be too value. 200 cast range for Victoria, get some better positioning on the Will-O-Wisp. Ember, alright, he's got Beef Fury money now, but where's the rest of it? I guess it's over at the shop buying the last component. Alright. So they've got Battle Fury, but tied once again. This break is just too brutal for OP. And I think we are also seeing a little bit of why Tide is maybe just not such a big hero currently. They do manage to bring down James over at mid. Nice little rotation in from Lynx and DD, but even with that, with no Tide and knowing that he doesn't have a buyback available, the Battle Fury, but XM just diving in pretty, he gets up enough to silence. XM, no BKB, drops the gem. Okay. A little bit too far, a little bit too aggressive. Didn't get the tier 3, handed away the gem. Really needed to pop his 10-second BKB there. Oh, what, he got Sinister Gazed, and that was the end of it. Well, all right, back to waiting for a little bit for CD. Man, they even had a nice ward on the high ground, but actually, what is that? It's death number 2 for him this game. So 417 gold for DD. Alright, so what do we got? Do we have the Satanic completed now for Ame? He is definitely ascended to his throne as number 1 on the net worth. Going to be going for the Abyssal Blade after that. Ember is just going for an Aeon Disc. Veno, Blink, and now going for the Aghanim Scepter. Felix the one running around for Gem currently. James has got some dust. Felix, they're kind of pinging at SRF here. Everyone is running top. SRF doesn't have any vision to work with currently, so I don't know if this is the best place for him to be, but he does have a BKB TP. Looks like that should be enough to get him out of here. That was his 8-second BKB being used, and we do have a couple more tier 4 items coming out. Do we actually, what do we got? Still only have the one so far from CDEC, but Illusionist Cape, pretty nice for the Phantom Lancer. And over on the other side we have Flicker for the Tide. They've got an Illusionist Cape of their own, and they've also got the Leveler, which is being picked up by their Clinks. Oh, and they've got eyes on the fact that the Phantom Lancer is over here. Alright, I'm just gonna send the Illusions to keep on farming James. Now the target, Tranquil Boots unbroken, so he's pretty fast, but Felix still closing the gap. Running back to their outpost. Are they going to choose to take a fight here? Ame wondering about committing, perhaps. The Will-O-Wisp getting popped down. The Poison Nova does connect onto him, but nobody else. And XM going to sense that as his opportunity to just go and take this fight. The Ghost Shifter comes out. They also pop the Mars ulti onto the Lich as James buys back into the game. Ame's found his target, brings down Felix. Can't look for too much else as Ember is just chewing his way through the trees with spider legs. Alright. So, what? Just 2 supports dead, buyback on the other team's support, Aegis and Cheese available over in the pit. You see not a whole lot of vision over there. Do they have any wards? They got 1 observer ward for Victoria, so probably need to place it in a pretty conservative spot, but they do definitely need vision where the Titans might be coming in, though. As I say that, they've actually got vision on OP at the moment, and he does not have a TP scroll for 40 seconds. Are they interested in actually taking this fight? They've got the lockdown on the Ember, the vision on the high ground. Oh no. God King brought down and now dead for 70 seconds. That's our effort straight into the pit. Game's gonna quickly capture this outpost. So they have really taken full control of this area. At least they finally managed to get the D award courtesy of the playboard, but yeah, they're taking Roche. It's not that fast, and there is a blink on this Tide Hunter. No Remnant for the Ember, no TP for a second either, and it just cheat. Smoke breaks. XM does have 2 Astral Steps, so if he wants to find, he can. He gets the lockdown onto OP, who uses the flicker to evade a little bit longer, but the break is there with the follow-up silence. Oh no, this poor Tide just, well, it would be a bad pun to say that he can't catch a break, but Red Panda, he's also going to get caught out. Ghost Scepter buys him a few more seconds, but he'll be the next one to fall. Felix over here farming with his double damage does find a little Minotaur horn for himself. Maybe that can be the answer for the problems that the Tide Hunter is having. But DD trying to defend the high ground does drop the Poison Nova out onto everybody, but just gets bashed up. Ame still looking for the chase. Nice chains, but here comes the silence. XM doesn't have a second one available. And the Minotaur horn going to help out the Embers. He does survive a little longer, but they haven't even cleaned up all of these illusions, and CDC do just commit for themselves. Felix, well, Satanic gets popped. There's nothing to heal off of, so Ame looks like a little bit of a clown, but there's some neutral creeps for him to go and grab. Arena getting popped defensively just to fight against the Burning Army. And the BKB does get Felix right there. But they got the Will-O-Wisp. Arena only in 40 seconds. They've still got this Aegis and the Phantom Lancer. They don't actually have the Basher just yet. Ace Venom didn't even get stunned. Not bad. Not bad. He's got Poison Nova in 6 seconds time. Also available, OP God still has the Flicker. They do have a Deso on the Ember Spirit, but Ame just focusing the racks. They're leaving him on the front lines. He's still got the Aegis, so there's only 1 Ravage, and he's got 2 lives. It's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with him. He's still looking for his ank. Provide them a few more seconds, but that's a few more seconds towards this Arena of Blood coming back up. Cooldown, there is a BKB. He's taking the crit. Does pop the BKB now, but they're just focusing him. Poison Nova finally comes out, but a few more auto attacks bring him down. They just need to kite at this Poison Nova a little bit, perhaps. Ember can't afford to just sit there and get auto attack. XM really preventing OP God from coming into the fight and doing what he wants. Satanic heals the Phantom Lancer all the way back up to full as he continues tanking out this Poison Nova. With that, 1 more auto attack will do it. The Phantom Lancer has the money for his Abyssal Blade if he wants it. Felix just dying in the back lines. But looking for... Was he just... Oh, did he just get caught out? Did he actually do damage? No, I think he just got caught. Well, Clink's down. Does have a buyback. CDC onto the high ground once again. 26k their net worth lead at this point. They're edging towards 100% win probability. Go to Plus not believing in Ember's ability to win this game, and I have to say I'm a little bit doubtful as well. Minotaur Horn gonna help him out. SRF still has the spear. Ame still just playing the objective. He's got the Aegis for another minute and 40 seconds, so really no rush for CDEC to claim this bait. Felix buying back, just gonna go hunting in the backlines once again. Spots a tasty little courier. He might take that for himself. Alright. Oh, nice!
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Very nicely done with the shield. Somebody was paying attention. Lich is dead inside of the base. Really not a whole lot of answers to him. Tide, what can you do? OP God is back here. Oh, here comes the break again. These silences. Poor Tide. Could have maybe pressed the flicker out, but DD is the target. Oh, Abyssal Blade's on cooldown, but Phantom Rush isn't, and they get the bash anyway. Felix with the BKB pop, but here comes the Ghost Scepter. XM does need to be a little bit careful against the Burning Army, but he's got a cheese. And, you know, Sparking Arrow. DD's had enough as he ends up dying once more. And the dig onto the face of Felix for good measure. They're all down, and history will end up repeating it all. 3 days ago, they took down Sparking Arrow Gaming 2-0, and here once again in this best of 3 for the DPL-CDA, they are going to be